everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Megan, and it's a new year, so a new video. I'm excited, and today I am going to be talking about my next King read in my Stephen King project, in which I am reading every single Stephen King novel in chronological order from start to finish. And today we are ending the year 1989 by talking about The Dark Half. Woohoo! Alright, let's jump right into it. I'm really happy about this one because I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm so happy to be ending the 80s on a high note so that we can go into the 90s with, goodness. I don't even know how to describe it, but I'm just happy that I could end the decade on a high note. And it's so funny because I'm pretty sure I ended the 70s on a high note because I'm pretty sure The Dead Zone was the last book that I read for that. And that was a 5-star read for me. I loved that book. So I'm King's really good at hitting the ends of decades. So, anyway, today, The Dark Half. So, I just really thought this was so interesting because I think this came out around the time when he was outed as Richard Bachman, and I thought it was a very interesting premise because basically the book is to me it's him thinking what if my alias came to life, what would that look like? And that's basically what this book is, because you have Thad, who is our main character, and he's a writer, and he writes all of these books, and he's very famous. Well, I guess he's not very famous, but he's pretty famous. And then he's like, well, I want to write other books, but I don't want to write them under my name because they're not typically what I write. So he creates his alias George Stark. And everybody loves those books. But they're a different, they're horror and graphic and completely different from what Thad normally writes about. Hence kind of the parallel between Stephen King, but backwards, because Stephen King is the well-known horror writer name. And then he wanted to write books that were less horror, more I don't know how to describe some of his Bachman books. They're still horror, but they're different type of horror. So it's very interesting to see that parallel there. I think that he did a very good job of it. And King is very good at writing what he knows. And he knows how to write writers because he is one. And I think he wrote George and Thad very well because of that. And they were both very compelling characters, and we knew who was who. We never really needed to question oh, are we in Thad's head? Oh, are we in George's head? Because he was very good at creating these different personas, and he created them very differently, and it was just really well written and really well done. So I really loved that. The other aspect I really liked was you didn't quite know, is George real? Is he not real? Is Thad making all of this up in his head? We go through so many emotions through the course of the novel that you're wait, what is going on? So I thought the plot was just so fast-paced and suspenseful, and he kept up that suspense for so long that even till you got to the last page or the last few chapters, you were what am I reading? What's going on? What's gonna happen? And then once you finally get there, you're just damn, this actually ended really cool. I was this is I thought it was really well done. I thought it was really thought out. And what I also really liked was the twin concept. So he gave Thad twins so he has two kids, they're twins. And he used that in the novel really well, because then it kind of balances him and Thad and George as well, how I don't want to say too much without spoiling it, because it's he kind of just uses it as a compare and contrast kind of thing, oh, twins do this, oh, is George his twin, oh, is he his a thought in his head, his imagination is who is this George? And it just was really crafty and very creative in how he did it. And I really, really liked that. So I thought this book was just really, it was fast-paced, it was suspenseful, it was thrilling, it was everything. It was so much fun. I had a lot of fun with it. So, I rated it 4, but I really did like it. So I'm not really, maybe I'll bump it up to a 5, but it was good. And then I watched the movie after, and that was a 2-hour movie. And I don't know. The movie did it well, like, because it's hard to show, like, a lot of what worked well in the book was a lot of like written stuff, and so to show that was harder because there was a part that was left out that I was like, well, how do you know the difference between the two, and how do you know how one of them is going to have their demise? Like, how do you know which, like, there's a specific part in the book in which, like, we know how the other, like, how one will take the other one down, basically, but in the movie it's not explicitly told. There's no expositional scene, there's nothing shown that's there. So it's all, so to me, I was confused. I was like, because I read the book, I know how this works. But I'm like, if you're just watching the movie, I'm like, I feel like you would be very confused as to what's going on here. And I mean, I'm glad that the movie still gave Thad twins, but it also didn't really do as much as it did in the book. I think it helped more in the book because there was a lot more expositional text in the book to help support to support the plot, to support the characters, to help it move forward. But in the movie, it didn't really do that. But I will say the acting was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching the main actor. I can't remember his name right now. Timothy something. He did a really good job of both playing Thad and George because, like, they're completely different. They tried to hide who George was for a hot second in the movie, but, like, you can only do that for so long before, like, your audience starts getting bored and agitated. So I get why we see George a lot sooner. I feel like in the movie versus the book, the movie also didn't go in the same order as the book, so the book kind of jumped around timeline wise, but like in the movie it moved very chronological. I liked Alan in the book more than I liked him in the movie, but otherwise, you know, solid. Good movie, good premise, good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where I'm gonna go come 2026 for King Reading, but 1990 in King Reading. So, which leads me to my next book, which is, oh, it's a heavy one, 4 Past Midnight. This is a collection of 4 short stories, I guess. Yes. So I just started it, but it's going to take me probably till, I want to say April, until I finish this one, because it's a big, chonky one. I think a lot of King's early 90s works are big and chunky, so I don't know how many King books we're going to get through this year, but I'm looking forward to diving into this. So I will be back at some point this year to talk about this. I might do individual videos and maybe put them together. I haven't decided yet, just because it's so big, and then like each of them has like a movie. So instead of what I did for different seasons, I might just do individual stuff. But that's for me to figure out and for you to just watch. So with that, if you've read The Dark Half, let me know in the comments below. I mean, if you've read 4 Past Midnight, you can let me know, but I don't want to know anything other than if it was good or not. Don't spoil it for me. But that is all I have for you guys. So if you liked this video, give it a like, a comment, a subscribe, a do your thing, and I will see you all in my next video. So thanks, and bye, guys!